6 people were killed in West London when an express ploughed into a goods train. Derek Nally seeks the County Council path to the presidential election and fails. Wales votes yes to devolution, but by the most slender of margins. And the first questioning of Diana's bodyguard, so far he remembers nothing. Good evening and welcome. In Britain, a public inquiry is to be held into the cause of a train crash in West London this afternoon, in which 6 people were killed and 170 injured, 6 of them seriously. The high-speed intercity train was en route from South Wales to London when it collided with a freight train just outside Southall station. The exact cause of the crash isn't known, but signal failure or driver error are suspected. The accident happened at about 1:20 this afternoon. The packed express train was coming from Swansea in Wales to Paddington Station in London. In the impact, live overhead power lines were brought down and there was an explosion. Passengers described the chaotic scenes.
There was a lot of smoke and fire around the compartment I was in, and people were trapped there for a while.
There was quite a bit of panicking in the carriage. There was an awful stench of smoke and diesel, and there were fires developing outside the track as well.
Emergency teams worked all afternoon, cutting through the mass of twisted metal to free the trapped and injured passengers. The most seriously injured were taken away by helicopter. Others were ferried by ambulance to 4 hospitals in the area. It's still not known what caused the crash. Railtrack officials said the empty goods train was being shunted across the main line when it was hit by the intercity train.
Railway accidents, which are infrequent in their nature, historically have occurred either because of human error or equipment failure. We now have people working very hard to establish what in fact caused this tragic accident.
But Railtrack's chief executive defended the company's safety record, despite speculation about inadequate equipment.
There was a complicated discussion about the nature of the signalling, but in terms of maintenance, there's no question of under-maintenance at all, nor is there any question here. But of course, that's what we shall find out when we conduct a detailed study.
Emergency services are still working at the scene tonight. Railtrack inspectors will start their own investigation tomorrow morning. A public inquiry by Britain's Health and Safety Executive has already been launched. Here it has emerged that it could take weeks before the cause is established of last night's train crash in Dublin involving a liquid ammonia container. ANNETTE described the incident as very serious, and the Green Party called for rail line be upgraded to avoid a potentially fatal incident in future.
The ammonia carrier was making its nightly journey through Dublin en route to Arklow. Of the 9 carriers on the train, 6 were laden with liquid ammonia. One of the water carriers, there in case of an emergency, derailed and collided with an oncoming freight train. Had any ammonia leaked, an evacuation of houses and premises in the area would have been necessary.
This was a very serious incident which involved an ammonia train, though in the incident itself only a water wagon was actually struck by the train and the wagons immediately prior to it were empty. We still consider this a very serious accident. A full investigation is taking place into the accident, and the report of that investigation will be passed to the Department of Public Enterprise and the Minister.
At any point was an evacuation of people's homes being considered?
No, because immediately the drivers radioed in the incident. It was established within minutes that there was no leakage, so there was no necessity, though the emergency services did turn up in order to check, because that's in the standard procedure, is that they always turn up whenever there's an incident.
The train carrying ammonia makes a daily journey from Marino Point in Cork to Dublin. Here it turns around and makes its way to Shelton Abbey in Arklow, where the ammonia is used in the manufacture of fertiliser in the IFI plant there. ANNETTE say they do not use a quicker rural route, as signalling along the Dublin-Cork rail line in an emergency case is more effective. A representative of the Green Party said it was a matter of luck that a more serious incident did not occur.
It's a very dangerous and toxic chemical. It can cause blindness, lung damage, and if there was a major spillage, it can cause death. So we've got to look at the relative risks. Rail is safer than road, but we need to improve those safety features, maybe by lower working speeds in urban areas, and maybe by a general investment in the